Hey everybody, welcome back to Rhythm and Booze with Mikey and Nikki. I am Mikey.
And I'm Nikki.
And this is a podcast where we talk about all sorts of different topics in our lives as being artistic, creative people in the world of Lindy Hop, swing dancing, burlesque, and all sorts of different things. Whatever we're into this month, this week, this day.
Yeah, you never know. It changes all the time.
I'm so flustered. I'm like, here we go. I don't know how do we do this? How do we do this? And I spilled my drink all on the brand new equipment.
Of course.
Of course I did.
I feel like it's a good omen.
Yeah, fuck
it's
it up.
kind of like you want to have a bad rehearsal before
Yeah.
you perform.
Exactly.
That's kind of,
That's exactly what happened.
With our lives.
Remember us? We were the people who were talking to you very loudly and with lots of white noise during the pandemic.
Yeah, and we're back. Hopefully without any white noise.
Yeah.
We'll see. It might be dogs barking. It might be kids running back
Somebody
and forth
ringing the
upstairs.
fucking doorbell.
Yeah, you just never know.
What are we drinking this week?
We are drinking a nice vintage 2020 Merlot called the Fabulous.
Do you think that's a good idea? But I think it's a bad idea. 2020.
I think it's a great idea.
Yeah, it's just like that year though. That year.
I mean, that year, it's been like, I feel like 2020 was, yes, a year, but the feeling of 2020 is carried on for at least 3 at this point.
It's got to be ending. It's got to be ending. We're going to change it up.
Yeah. No, things are happening. They're progressing. They're moving forward. Things are good.
Things are better.
They're better. But they're good. They're good.
Yeah, they're good. They're good. I'm being slightly pessimistic only because I feel like the more I say it's good or it's getting better, I'm like, oh, something else happens.
Yeah, I know.
Oh well.
It's the other shoe thing.
Yeah. when you put the one shoe on, the other shoe runs.
The other one drops. Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah, you kind of killed it.
Well, as we're trying to figure out how electronics work again, we've been up to a ton of stuff. Oh my god! Mm-hmm. I feel, especially in the last 6 months, or this past year has just been one thing after another.
I mean, really, you could say the past 3 years, but yeah. The past 6 months has been very progressive and very busy, and it's just been one thing after another.
We've been literally trying to start this, restart this podcast for the past year.
Yep, easily.
I think we looked back at the podcast and I was like, hey, Nikki, you should play the last one we played. What was it? It's
The Return.
The Return. And then never again.
Life got busy again.
Life got busy.
And I think we put it on the calendar. I don't even know how many times.
So
and
many
then
times.
we're like, nope, that's not going to work. Nope, that's not going to work. And here we are. We made it happen after a full day of Dapper Day and birthday weekends, and here we are.
Yeah, seriously. But this is a good sign. So like you were saying before, and I was being pessimistic, but this is actually a good sign that we're able to have time to do this and found it and then carved it out.
Yeah.
Because this is our fun thing. This is our thing we do only to feed ourselves and just see if anybody else is talking about this stuff or wanting to hear this stuff.
Yeah.
It's not for any Patreon. It's not for any
No.
OnlyFans. It's not for any.
Could you imagine if we put this on OnlyFans?
To be fair, that's what OnlyFans was. The beginning of OnlyFans was meant for all creatives like Patreon, and then it swayed heavily to.
They take one listen and be like, nope, this is not what I'm here for.
Exactly.
Where's the feet pictures?
Oh no. Oh.
But there's something for everybody. So
There's something for everybody.
They could have done great.
I only say because I'm not into that.
Mm-hmm.
But that's it. Mm-hmm. Thank you. It just gave me up right now. Also, I'm trying to straighten my back a lot, so the people on YouTube, you're gonna see me do this a lot because I also have slouchy.
That's because we're both in PT and we're trying to be better about posture and fixing all the broken shit in our bodies.
Exactly, and that's part of today. We're just gonna be catching up on the last couple of months, just the last couple of months, because a ton of stuff has just happened in the last 2 months alone, and one of them in general is going to PT.
Yeah.
And being old and
Mm-hmm.
bettering our bodies.
Just being smarter about taking care of ourselves. I know that I've been dealing with this pain in my back and neck for years, 4 years?
Seriously.
And I've tried a little bit. I did a little bit of acupuncture and some cupping and things like that.
Meditation, quartz bowl sessions.
Yeah. That is the first time I made a point to go to an actual chiropractor, I was like, oh wait, this is exactly what they do.
Reiki, crystals, sage.
You know, there's something for everyone. But no, going to a chiropractor and having one session and the same day everything is drastically better. Like, what the hell have I been doing with my life?
Yeah,
I couldn't find an hour of my day.
This happened like 4 years ago too. You went to a PT for a little bit and then you started like strengthening the other muscles around it and you got a little better.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like everything since then has been a stress ball.
Yeah, but your shoulder's been way worse.
Yeah, I did yard work and I was ripping up a root, like a tree root, and I was like, I can do this. I got it. And I was like getting in there with a pickaxe and a shovel. I was like, yeah, I felt like everything primal in me finally, like the instinct kicked in. And I was like, I must do this. And I was like, doing the whole thing and I felt good. And at one point I reached down for some leaves. This was like stuff to throw away into the garbage. And as I was reaching down, I could feel the pinch right in the front part of my shoulder. And I was like, that's new. Okay, cool. And then later on that day, we went to go see a movie. We went to go see Batman. The Batman. And the entire movie, I was so excited, but I couldn't show it because the entire movie, the pain grew through my shoulder, up through my neck, and was like in the back of my head. You always tell me how much you get a headache, like right back there, like in the base of your skull. And that was the first time I ever felt it. I was like, this hurts. And I was like rubbing it the entire time. Like I couldn't stop because I felt like shit. And yeah, and that was back in May.
Yeah, and here you are in November.
Yeah.
Finally going to physical therapy.
I felt so shitty. I was talking to my doctor. I was like, what happened like a month ago? I don't know. I didn't want to tell him. It wasn't a pre-existing condition.
Oh, yeah.
But I've been going to a PT. They massage you for like 20 minutes. And I'm like, oh, and they make me strengthen it. And they make me do exercises, which is really fun. Like have you ever gone to like I haven't told you this because I'm saying it now. Have you ever gone to what do they call it? A gym and like felt like less than around everybody where they're like pumping?
Sure,
like,
yeah.
They're like feeling it, they're like muscles in their. I'm like, oh, I can't even go over there. But at the PT, like everyone else has like serious injuries, like hip and shoulder. Like
I was gonna say, are they really old?
I wasn't gonna say old. To say more mature than me, and I'm like, I'm feeling good doing all my exercises. I'm like, yeah, bring it on. Then 3 times. You want to do 10 of these 3 times? Let's do 4 of them. Let's do 5 of them. 3 times. Yeah. So I'm like doing my neck thing back and forth. I'm like, this is easy.
Oh no.
But it helps. It helps a lot. Yeah, it's really cool. It's on my chest.
Moral of the story is dancers were the worst at this. Take care of your bodies.
Yeah.
PT, work it out. We're athletes. We have to act like athletes, and that sometimes we forget that.
Find a place in your area that does like $25 massage full body for an hour, and that'll do wonders. Do that like once a month, and you'll be fine. And we are idiots. We should be doing that.
I know.
It helps out so much.
I was told there's one in Orange that did this. It's like $20. You go full body. It's an hour. They go like above and beyond.
I think it's patella intestine. Yeah, it's next to the norms.
They Yvonne told me they changed their prices. So.
Oh no, inflation! Dun dun dun.
Just like everything else.
Just like everything else. I'm already. I'm already not. All right, the next thing. Camp Hollywood. Camp Hollywood. I don't know about you guys, but that was our first big event. Yeah. Like, well, not really big event. To be fair, it was Camp Jitterbug. There was a thing, but Camp Hollywood was maybe 3 or 4 times the size of Camp Jitterbug.
Easily, yeah.
And it was intense. It
was a lot. There was a lot of anxiety and uncertainty, and just overall nervousness of being back around so many people. I know for myself, having so many crazy life changes and. My life is so public and putting things out there that I was so afraid of the social interaction.
Oh, totally.
Of people that I am not close to, that I haven't had a conversation with in over 3 years, and that pressure to like play catch up with everybody I spoke to. Yeah. I just didn't have it in me, and I was very, very anxious going in. More so than the dancing, it was the social anxiety for me.
I remember getting there and not feeling that. And we were talking about it, and you were telling me, and I was like, cool, totally understand. If we need to run away or like get away from everybody, no worries. And then I didn't feel it until like the second day, but then I started to feel it. But I felt it specifically because I was hanging outside in the little like smoking area, and a friend of ours who will shall remain nameless. He smoked a ton of weed around me, and I was just like breathing it all in. And I'm really sensitive to weed, especially the smoke. And I got super paranoid, super anxious, and I wanted to run away from everybody. And that was like Friday night, Saturday night, and then the whole rest of the weekend. I kind of had a tinge of it the whole rest of the time. But it took me like an hour to get out of it, and I finally like felt better. I kept telling you, I was like, hey, I'm gonna go away for a little bit.
It's really fun.
Yeah. Oh man, it was so bad.
Yeah, it was a lot. I mean, besides jumping right back into teaching a full lineup of classes and competing again when we haven't really had a chance to train like we wanted to, and that on top of all the social stuff, I feel like the biggest anxiety point for me coming into Camp Hollywood is that check-in area. Totally. Where you're just like, okay, here it is. I have to check into the hotel. I can't avoid anybody. And you just have to, it's like you're in a welcome line of everybody coming in and passing through. Yeah. And it's just like, oh no, don't make eye contact. Just, we look really busy right now.
I kind of feel like it was like a red carpet thing, but like sort of reverse. Because like we were the ones like standing still and people were walking back and forth. And some people were in line waiting, and like it just felt like you were on display. It was just very, very strange. And I think as well, like the thing that doesn't help all of this is that we had the podcast during like the thick of lockdowns. And I remember from past, and this is what happened when we got there, is that people listen to this and they know our voices, and they know the conversations we've had, and they kind of like have their time to chat back, like, hey, I remember this thing, or like, let me talk to you about this thing because you talked about it back then. And that happened a few times, and it was very funny. But I forgot. I was like, oh yeah, I forgot. Yeah, that's what that feels like. And not that that's a bad thing. I just completely forgot. So it catches you off guard, and when it catches you off guard, you get a little anxiety from that because of like oh shit, like what are they talking about? I should know what they're talking about. Ugh.
Yeah. At the same time, it was such a positive time to reconnect with people. Yeah. Because people did find that connection with us in a time where everybody was kind of searching for that, and
exactly,
it was really nice to reconnect and make new friends and
see old ones, but
then also, I don't know, build friendships with people that we had kind of online friendships through the pandemic, or who supported us through the pandemic, and so it was really interesting to come out of it into a place of positivity, and I felt like even with the contest, everyone was rooting for each other a little bit more than normal, and the camaraderie was really special, and it was a good time.
It was really, really good. It was definitely funny because like I felt in the contests like you said, like we didn't train as much as we wanted to, which because of life, and that's fine. But I think it was such a funny thing that I keep telling myself that through the thick of a lot of the lockdown, we got to dance a lot together, and not a lot of people did, and they got to like do it in their living rooms and do it like little spaces that they had. But we had Atomic that was completely empty all the time, and we were super lucky that. And then at some point, life started to begin again, and we didn't have that time anymore. But everyone else got the time, and so they caught up, and I was like, damn, everyone's really good, and they're practicing a lot more, and that's so cool. And I think it goes along with like every dancer and every like generational kind of switch. It's like we're getting older and we're getting more wiser, and we want to diversify our time, and everything can't be focused exactly on the one thing anymore. And that's something I always struggle with. I've always struggled with. You know, it's either all or nothing. But now I'm with like this idea of like at times, and like dividing my time equally. Whatever I'm on, I'm focused on completely 100%. And at there, I was definitely like, wow, I have been lacking. Like this whole past year, for sure, we've, both of us have been like lacking in that sense of just going, dancing for an hour, coming up with stuff, staying creative, and just doing dancing things.
Right.
But that's for the I don't know what to say, but like a good reason. It's for
Yeah, I think when you're in a mode of survival,
yeah.
it's hard to prioritize being an artist and being creative and being playful and having fun. And there's a sense of seriousness when you're preparing for contests that you have to kind of prioritize what's most important. So if you're like, okay, I'm gonna focus all my mental energy on making my business survive right now versus going in the studio and practicing, or I'm gonna focus on what the kids need and going, and that was back to school time for my kids, and my daughter's starting high school, and it was a crazy time. So, you know, you have to choose where your priorities lie and where you have the space to find the time to, even though dancing's important, sometimes, you know, it has to take a back seat to life.
Exactly, and it's not put away and gone forever. It's backseat, or it's like reshuffling, or some things need more focus than others. And I think that's really important as people go in this dance creative life, as they go forward in this dance creative life, that they need to realize that it's okay to reprioritize things, and it's totally okay to like focus on another thing and get really good at it, and then you can come back to where you were before, and then with more knowledge, and it's gonna be so much better. Yeah. Every time.
Yeah.
You know?
I know for myself, I don't think I've ever, since I first started competing, I don't think I've ever been so nervous to be on that floor. Yeah. It felt so foreign. So incredibly foreign, and I don't usually get that nervous or anxious, especially for like a mix and match. Like I'm excited for the fun of it, and I feel like this time my anxiety definitely got the better of me, and I just haven't felt that before. So it was really interesting to be in this new space and be like, wow, I feel like I'm starting from scratch at this, and like being okay with it, being like, okay, that's okay. This is just where we are. We're in a new place, you know.
You've got to start where you are, for sure. On a different tip of that Camp Hollywood thing, we were in charge of something new that year, and we wanted to kind of touch base on it with the idea of an audition. And
audition track.
The audition track, that's what it was named there. And every festival, every event has a different name for it, masters or advanced level, whatever, placement, right? And the idea is that you as a dancer sign up for the whole weekend, but you want to get into the highest level of dance classes, where hopefully more topics will be covered, or things will go faster, or it'll just be more targeted to the higher level of the people in that class. And there was an audition, and it was the first time ever that Camp Hollywood had ever done that. Hillary talked to us about what that might look like, and we had an idea based off of a lot of other events that I've been to, and especially California Balboa Classic, who does it in this way where they watch you dance inside of a class. So they have a class going with a pair of teachers, and then they have like level checkers, people outside, so like judges almost. And so we had 6, 3 leads, 3 follows, and they watch the entire class, and they see who's doing the best with the material given, and how fast they can apply it, and how fast they're doing, or how best they're doing. And then towards the end, we have to see them dance a lot. So we have a little bit of social dancing, a little bit or majority of class time and how they are in class, and kind of judge it from there. I think it went pretty well, but there's always lessons to be learned. I'm always a feeling of that. A couple things was the room was way big, but we filled it up. There was so many people in there.
Very uncomfortable.
Yeah, you've been in that class, there was like one circle and then a second circle. This had like 3 circles, and then we're off the floor, and then we're on the floor, and it was Nick Williams and Sylvia Sykes that were in the middle and teaching, and they were in the tiniest little space. And
which
so we
did amazingly.
They did amazing,
they
for
managed
sure.
that class very
for sure.
well.
I think in the future, just knowing that a lot of people are going to show up for that shit, it might be better to do it in a different way. But yeah.
In general, I am not a fan of being the judges of those. This one, because we were helping to organize it, it was a little bit different. But even then, because we were helping to organize it, that meant that the people that wanted to challenge their placement, or by not making the audition track, had to come to us with their grievances. And that's such a tough place to be,
really
because you see people that, you know, they don't make it, but all of their friends did, and
Mm-hmm.
they all flew here from some other place,
Exactly.
and they're in it together, and they're rooming together, and then one person doesn't make it into the audition track, and it really, really breaks my heart to have to be that person. But
Yeah.
I mean, I am okay doing it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like doing it.
Yeah.
But, you know.
The same for me.
Sucks.
The same for me. But it's like for me, it's the feeling that like if we get to that point and we're put in charge of this by an organizer, and I feel like okay, I'm good about this. It does suck. It does suck to break bad news to somebody like that. For every reason you mentioned. And in this one in particular, I don't know the person. I don't know if it's really they were talking about Camp Hollywood, but I saw like a little. Like maybe a month ago, like a couple weeks after Camp Hollywood, somebody was talking about audition, the way auditions are run or level checks are run or whatever, that whole thing.
Yeah.
And they were talking about how they knew a dancer from where they were originally from, and they said all their friends got into it and they didn't, and they were very upset about it. They didn't like the way it was run, and
Right.
they ended up not taking any classes for the whole weekend.
Oh, that's such a bummer.
So exactly, and stuff like that. I've heard that story before many times,
for sure.
but at the same time, it doesn't make it any easier. And that person, I apologize really, but at the same time, like that's the audition part of it. It's kind of make or break. And the one thing for everybody to notice, and I think a lot of people understand this, but it's really hard to get in that moment, is this is not a reflection on the dancer you are right now. This is you as a dancer reflected towards the other dancers that are in that room, and that's it. It's just like a contest, and that's not the best way to say it, but it's just like a contest. You compared to the person next to you, and then from then on we kind of build that up.
It's tough when there are very high level dancers in the audition, and they kind of set the tone for the benchmark. That's the benchmark of what everybody else has to live up to in order to make that track, because the whole point is for it to be the highest level. And unfortunately, what happens is sometimes that highest level, they start out in the track, in the class, and then they end up trailing off and they don't take all the classes. And then those people that were kind of mid-range become that top level, but unfortunately, they weren't the ones that set the benchmark for the class. So I feel like it's a really tough spot to be, and I feel like part of it is it makes it even more difficult when the attendees and the people that are in that audition track don't attend the classes.
Yeah.
And it's not helpful if you're one of the cool kids and you come up and just ask for a wristband because you think we know who you are. Because
that's some bullshit. That's some bullshit. Like in this case right here, we had a full hour of an audition track on like the beginning of the weekend. And it was a full class, and then we had a rebuttal or kind of like second chance that was later on in that day, of a lunch, and we took our lunch out. We had a full day of classes, which was 5
hours, I think.
No, it was 4 plus the 5 hour of the audition, plus the 6 that was the lunch. And so we worked 6 hours nonstop, which isn't horrible by any means. I'm not saying like pity us, but at the same time, like we planned that out intentionally, because if we're gonna ask this of all the attendees, then we're better put the work into it, and we did. And then you miss the audition, you miss the second chance, and you come in and you beg us and make a personal plea. Not cool. Not cool. I'm not gonna just
Nothing else to say.
super fucked up.
Yeah, there's a lot of entitlement that goes along with the cool kid crowd, and I think that, I think as dancers we always have to check ourselves and like, are we acting entitled, or are we part of the community? And be honest with yourself. If you know that you might not really show up to classes, you might come to one, maybe just don't do it.
Yeah.
Because then you're changing that audition track benchmark for other people, and maybe there's a way around that. I'm not sure what the best way is. Like, I want everybody to take the classes they want to take, but even if you don't get into an audition track, I think something that's important to remember is that a lot of times in those audition tracks we end up teaching the same stuff that we're going to teach to the lower level tracks because everybody typically needs the same things. Maybe we'll teach a different or more advanced routine, but sometimes when it comes down to those fundamentals and basics and technique and stuff, that's the same for every level. So if you don't make the audition track, there's still so much to gain from all the other classes. It's still the same teachers.
Yeah, and to kind of go back a little bit, to go to the audition, to go to the second chance, beg for it, and get into it, and then we're peeking into that class all weekend. And it was not the people, like it was maybe a quarter of the people we give a wristband to, which is like defeats the purpose. In this giant room, you have 5 couples in there. When we gave wristbands to at least 40 to 50 couples.
Oh yeah, easily.
And we're like, where are the people? The next thing you got to realize, I mean, maybe for event organizers or people already know this, so we're commiserating together, is that those dancers that are really good, they stay out dancing all night long until the very last song,
right.
And they don't get up early for those classes.
Yeah, they don't want to take class in the morning.
We knew this going into like Inspiration Weekend back in the day, and we used to say like, oh, let's just start at 12 then. Start classes at 12, like give people a chance to dance all night and not have to worry about coming for a 9 to 10 a.m. class. Come in at noon. Yeah. And then for our audition level stuff, we did a blurb in the description that said, you have to make it. Like part of being a part of this audition is trying to make every single class so that not only you get the best out of it, you get what you want out of it, but all the other attendees you help them. And that's like already helping your partnership in general. Right,
and the teachers also are able to get through the material that they've planned for that entire track.
Yeah, because it's progressive.
Right.
And I think those are the notes like in my head that I keep constantly over and over again. If we do it again for Camp Hollywood and Hillary Alexander, awesome. Thank you so much for trusting us to do with that. We honestly loved it, but we have lots of notes for ourselves.
Yeah, and I think in general we're always open to feedback and suggestions. So feel free, message us on Facebook or Instagram or email or whatever it is, but send your suggestions, and we always listen. Even if we don't take everything and make that exact change, we always listen and we take it all in.
Send it to my Hotmail. I never look at it.
Your Yahoo.
Yeah, my Yahoo at MSN.
Your MySpace.
My GeoCities.
I don't even know what that is.
Anyways, after that, some crazy shit happened. Atomic Showcase. That was insane. Do you want to talk to me about that? You feel free. Well, Atomic Showcase is like a big recital that we do for Atomic Ballroom. I'll let her talk about it in a minute. But the whole thing is all students work with teachers and they get a chance to do a performance that's like a minute or 2 or 3, and they do it on a big stage, and it's a big production with lights and video and a live audience.
Yeah, it's really actually amazing, and obviously we haven't had it since 2019, and 2019 was the first year that I took the show over as the producer. And in the past we had our old manager at Atomic, her name's Trisha, and she had an amazing team, and they produced an amazing show, and they created an amazing experience for the students and the teachers and the staff. Everybody was involved, and it was a big thing, and people really look forward to it. It's a massive undertaking. We've done it in the past where we've had, we started out with like 10 routines. We moved to the theater, and I think we had a Disney themed show. I'm not sure if it was the first or second one, and it was so big that we had to add a second day of shows. It was just insane. So coming back to this now, first show post-pandemic, we did a couple in the studio, we did a couple video things, but being back in the theater and having 50 numbers and having all the teachers involved in the full production. And in the past we had a tech day, a dress day, and then
a lot of commitment.
Yeah, 2 show, a matinee and an evening show. And this year we did it Muse style, which is Muse Burlesque is my show we do every month, where we did tech and dress rehearsal earlier in the day, and then we ran the entire show in the evening. And these are all amateurs, so I mean it's tough. They're under a lot of pressure, and they did an amazing job, and it was an awesome show.
There's a lot of people that came back specifically for that. They would love that experience. They came back, so that helped out a lot. And it was such a great feeling. And I say recital, and I don't mean it in a demeaning way. It is a recital, but at the same time, it's like it's so cool to work on something and put energy into it, and then have a big opening like that and do it on stage. And I think you said the phrase was like, everybody deserves to be on stage once, something like that.
Yeah, everybody should experience what it's like to be on stage.
And that's
I believe in that so much.
And that's, so many people love it. And we, especially you, stress the fuck out of yourself to get that stuff out there. So like, I don't think anybody denies that, but I think in general, like a lot of people like need to understand that behind the scenes is a lot of production and a lot of work and a lot of blood, sweat, and tears, just as much as the people out there on the stage.
Yeah, it is. It's worth it. Like,
Totally.
you know, week of show, every time I'm like, never again.
Yeah.
Never
whole time.
again. I am never doing this again. If I tell you we're doing a showcase next year, tell me we're not doing this again. And then, of course, at the show, I'm like, so next year.
So we're here to announce 2023.
No.
The theme will be anxiety.
No. I'm sure we'll do it again.
Yeah.
The thing that is really magical about it, and this is part of what makes Atomic so magical in the first place too, is that, you know, we there's the ballroom way of doing things, and there's like the Atomic way of doing things.
Yeah.
And the ballroom world always has showcases. It's like a normal thing that happens. But Trisha's magical idea was like, let's do it on stage and let's create a production, and that really does change the experience for everybody.
Totally.
And they all feel like stars. Like, they get their hair and makeup done. They, you know, they get it all on film. They get these amazing photos of themselves. So it really is something that I think everybody should experience.
For sure. Then that week of, to add to the stress and pressure and anxiety of getting that shit done, we get a call from Jamel McWilliams, who's our contact and amazing friend and amazing choreographer. Works with John Baptiste, who we also worked with for the I Need You video. He calls us up out of the blue, and I always go like, Jamel's calling.
Like, well, answer it.
Yeah, well, here we go.
And I'm already looking at the calendar like, oh shit.
Here we go.
What is happening?
And we're both looking at it and we're both listening to him, and he calls us up for a gig, an opportunity where he was called up to choreograph a opening number with the professional dancers of Dancing with the Stars, which is now only exclusively on Disney Plus. So he calls us up and he said, I have an idea. I want to put some Lindy Hop into it and I need you guys.
He always says, he never says straight and Lindy Hop.
Yeah.
He says Lindy Fusion.
Yeah.
He wants the Lindy Fusion. He always like, you know how he does it, like Lindy Fusion.
Exactly. which basically means like, show me what you got, and then like, I'm gonna cut this, cut that, put that together, and we're both like, yeah, that does this way better.
Yep. He's just got an amazing eye. He knows what works for TV and video so well. But anyway, he calls us up, and you know, we're kind of thinking like, oh, we're just gonna help him like on the sidelines. Like, maybe we'll show up one day, but he's giving us dates and he's giving us times, and we're like, okay, this is a little bit more involved than we're thinking. And then we show up on day one of rehearsals, and we realize like, okay, no, this is a lot more. Even though our section isn't huge, it still has to be something that these dancers can digest very quickly and make look good very quickly, amongst this whole other crazy ass jazz routine that they have to learn as part of it. And then, you know, we don't really know how everything's gonna work. So on this day one, it's a little workshopping. We're figuring stuff out. And
workshopping like crazy. So it's
and it was an 8-hour day, I think.
Yeah, it was the first day was an 8-hour day. Me and Nikki, and then another couple, Jan and Leah, and they were amazing modern and ballroom dancers, and they were coming up with a certain section and coming up with parts, and we were coming up with sections and certain parts, and it was all for the Elvis Week theme that all the dancers, the pros and stars, get to pick a song from Elvis and then make a routine out of it. But the beginning one was going to be that Elvis theme song, 2001: A Space Odyssey, dun, dun, dun. And then it moves into Don't Be Cruel. And in that section, we were going to have like a Lindy Hop section, and that's what he wanted us to do. But we didn't know that, so we just work, come up with a ton of things. Jamel comes in, hot off the airplane, and he's just like, all right, show me. And like, we begin the process, which is an intense situation because we're throwing things at him and it's throwing back at us, and we're throwing things out, we're cutting and we're changing and we're doing. which is amazing. It gets our minds going and our blood boiling in the sense of like moving forward, trying new things and putting things together. And it's so amazing to be a part of this process.
It's very, very fast paced. And we have to cut our ego completely. And we have to recognize that, yes, even though this is a quote unquote Lindy section, it's not our Lindy Hop. It's not, like it has Lindy elements, but it's not, I say Lindy like that's how he says it all the time, Lindy. But it has the elements, but it doesn't, as Lindy Hoppers, we would put out a very different product.
Yeah, totally.
But to fit his vision, we have to work within the confines of what he's requesting of us. And so sometimes what we think is going to be the best thing for the project, he's thinking of the camera angles.
Yeah.
And he's thinking about what these pros can do. And he's thinking about where they're going next in this jazz routine. And so it's a humbling experience because we have to put ourselves in a position of helping his vision come to life rather than putting our agenda on the routine.
It's an assistant.
Yeah, then that's what we are. We're assistant choreographers. That's why we're not listed as head
Or
choreographers. Associate choreographer.
I mean, the same idea.
Thing, yeah.
Same idea. But like, it's so humbling because being around Jamel and his process is so intense and it's worth it. It's a masterclass of choreography. It's a masterclass of camera blocking and understanding what fits well for a general audience and putting on a great show, no matter what. And we go the first day, that first 8-hour day is up in LA, Studio City, and it's the day after Showcase. So Showcase was on a Saturday, and we go up there on a Sunday to do an 8-hour day. We're dead, and we're pulling the last little fumes of what we have left of energy.
I feel like I can't even pick up my feet.
Yeah.
Like I'm dancing as hard as I can, and my feet are just dragging.
And this thing happens when we work together, when we're like that. So we're both at the same level, like really low on energy. But one of us gets a little spike, and the other one kind of like just like chills and supports the other. And then that spike goes away, and the other person pops up with energy, and that person supports that person. And it's really interesting. It's not the easiest, right? Like we both get each other's nerves a little bit, but it's like a raw, not intentional. But at the same time, we're like, okay, put it away. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Like focus on what the thing is, and we move through, and we get into it. And I think you said it earlier, like we can't take it like personal.
Yeah. It's all about the process, and it's all about making this project come together on a very, very limited time.
Yeah.
None of this stuff that we ever get to do happens with like months of prep.
Nope.
It's usually days and hours within a week.
Yeah.
I think on this project we had 3 days.
Well, it was that Sunday, and then we met again on Tuesday.
Yes.
We went back up to
we went back to LA on Tuesday. We did a little bit more workshopping, and then we went back on Thursday, and we went to the actual Dancing with the Stars, not the film studios, but they have dance studios now, which is pretty amazing. It's a building that's just a bunch of dance rooms and production
with cameras,
equipment.
and it's all beautiful. It's all Dancing with the Stars.
And so we went there, and this was our first time working with the troupe. So Dancing with the Stars is really cool, actually, the process that they have right now. Basically, if you win, so you think you can dance, you become a troupe member on Dancing with the Stars, which is kind of cool, right?
Yeah.
They're building a progression for professional dancers to continue in the industry.
Yeah, and we got to work with these 4 amazing dancers that were so humble and so receptive to every little note we gave them. They thrived on it. They survived on every little note and just made it happen. It's so incredible to be in a room full of dancers that you don't know, and you're like, hey, that was wrong, you got to do it like this, and they're like, cool, and they do it.
Yeah, I mean, think about the first time you learned a pancake.
Yeah.
We literally taught them the mechanics of a pancake, showed it to them maybe twice with some pretty damn good air.
10-15 minutes.
That we were really happy about, and then they could just do it. And we're like,
great.
What?
Yeah, exactly.
This is crazy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think it's such a testament to the system because you had an experience, or we both had an experience with Dancing with Stars. It wasn't the best, and that all got wiped away because we got this experience that like progressed. So that was 10, 13 years ago, something like that. when Dancing with the Stars just began, and then now we come back to it, and their process is way better, and it's more focused on every single dancer. Every pro is also like a star in their own right, and every star is not just a B-list person, is like person that's trying to make it anywhere. Like they're legitimately hardworking celebrities that are either on TV or film or something, and it's just amazing to see the progression of the show itself behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Because then we got to work with all these troupe members, then we got to meet with all the pros, and there was a whole 2-hour session.
So, well, let's back it up a little bit, because there's another thing that happens. So we have this first session with the troupe members.
Oh, right.
And then we have a session that was Thursday. The next session was, I think, Saturday with the dance-ins.
No, that was Tuesday, then Wednesday, then Friday.
Oh my god, I can't even hold it all.
So Tuesday was the troupe members. So it was me, us, Jamel, Jan, Kira, who was Jamel's assistant, Jamel, and the 4 troupe members at the loft. Right. And then on Wednesday was the
dance-ins.
Yeah, it was the dance-ins.
There's this other group that Dancing with the Stars has, and it's this whole cast of dancers they employ.
That they can like call.
Yeah, so these dancers are called in to learn the routine, and this is something that I thought was so
amazing,
incredible. Again, these are all dancers from Dancing with the Stars. They've won it, they've been on the show, or they're just dancers who are hired to do this.
Yeah.
These dance-ins come in and they learn the choreography from top to bottom, the entire piece, tricks, everything.
The movement, the camera blocking, where they should be, what movement.
Then they know which person they're standing in for. Mm-hmm. So they know the track of the person that they're a stand-in for. And so when we have the day with the pros, and we had 2 hours.
With the pros.
2 hours total with the actual
people
show pros.
Yeah, they'll be on the show.
They'll be performing the routine. So what was amazing was we come in, these dance-ins are there, the pros are there. We explain the choreography once, everybody splits off with their dance-in, they learn their tricks, they learn their choreo, next thing you know, we're running the routine.
For instance, if you watch the clip, there's 2 couples in the front, downstage towards the camera, towards the main camera in the front, that do the pancake. We taught them the original stand-ins and some of the troupe members, and they taught the pros to do it. So we didn't have to actually teach it. We came across and gave some notes, but they did the bulk of the work. So it's such an amazing waterfall, like cascade of learning that is just amazing, that we all hope when we do these festivals or events, that we teach somebody something and then tell them to go teach somebody else, because then the progression keeps going, and we learn and they keep learning because they're talking about it in a different way, and it's just like, holy shit, it works.
Yeah, it's such an amazing process. They've got it dialed in, and these are the hardest working dancers that I just don't think they're given the credit. And I Mikey mentioned this before, but I previously had a really bad experience with Dancing with the Stars. I injured my knee on live television. It was just start to finish a nightmare. This experience completely canceled that out. Just being around everybody and being with these dancers that are, I mean, they're running this routine. They just learned it. They're running it over and over and over again, full out, with tricks every single time. And these aren't even the ones that are performing it. These are just stand-ins. And it's amazing to watch. It's so incredibly inspiring to watch. And it makes me want to be a better dancer.
Yeah. I think I always had like a sort of this feeling of like, Dancing with the Stars, whatever, that's cool. But now going under this process and seeing how they work behind the scenes, seeing how all the dancers in the troupe, all the dance-ins, all the troupe members and all the pros, and how much they actually work during the week. Like they don't stop. They have like 12, 16 plus hour days. Monday when the show happens, so like Tuesday to Monday. So they're getting ready for the show while learning the routine that they need to learn for the next week. And that's amazing. It's inspiring. Like these guys are animals, they're beasts, they're angels, they're devils, they're just beasts. They're amazing people, and they're they're great to work with. It was just so amazing.
So humble and so thankful. They were just so thankful. Thank you so much for teaching us. Thank you so much. They were so excited to learn Lindy Hop. You guys, they're so excited to learn Lindy Hop. And I think that's something that, we always, I think maybe I'm projecting, but I always think it's like professional ballroom dancers and professional trained dancers like kind of look down on Lindy Hoppers, or I always felt they did, as not being real dancers. And these, the pros of the pros were so excited to learn Lindy Hop.
Yeah.
And wanted to do it right and wanted to do a good job, and we're asking the right questions. And of course, when it comes down to performance, it's still performance energy and nervous energy, and everybody's freaking out learning a dance, performing a dance they just learned, but they really cared, and it was really, really cool and inspiring to be a part of.
They all realize how difficult Lindy Hop can be, and they understand it. They understand the parts of it. They don't understand how it all connects, which is totally fine. I don't blame them. But we are that connection for them, and then we are able to talk to them in the way that they can figure it out. And it's like so amazing because in the routine, the final routine that you see on television, there's a couple in the middle, and one of them was a professional ballroom dancer, like one Blackpool, like it was just like the top level of ballroom world, and then the other one is a not modern dancer, but like I would consider a solo dancer, like does things on their own, trained dancer, professional dancer, but and a winner of So You Think You Dance, and they're put together, and we got to work with the ballroom dancer, and he was like, yes, awesome, partner dancing, got it. He just soaked it all up, and he was like, this is amazing, this is so interesting. Oh, I gotta turn them like this. Okay, cool, I get to do all this stuff. Because in the routine, it's all like jazz stuff that they feel a little bit not the best about, but they kill it. They're just so amazing, and so great to be around that energy where it's like, I don't feel the best about that, but I'm gonna throw everything I have at that.
Yeah, it was actually really incredible to hear how insecure we're watching these amazing dancers kill this routine over and over and over again in rehearsal. I mean, I have amazing rehearsal footage. If you're ever around me, ask me to see it. I can't share it, but I can definitely show it to you. But we're watching these dancers just kill it over and over again. And then on the sidelines talk about how insecure they are about their jazz. And you're just like, no, you're so amazing. Like, I would kill to be able to do what you're doing right now.
Exactly. We weren't supposed to be called on to set to be able to block it with Jamel and all the dancers, and then we were, because we needed to give the notes. Every time they did it, they only had an hour to do it, and we got there and we got the notes, and they did it like maybe 4 or 5 times.
4 or 5 times, yeah.
And it was just amazing to be a part of the whole process and everything. Like that. Thank you, Jamel, for calling us up again and trusting us with everything. To put something like that out there into the public view and have it be seen by millions of people.
Yeah, it was really, really fun to be on set. I love being on set, and I love being behind the monitors and seeing how it's all coming together. And I love it when people come up and ask my suggestion for what the camera should do at any moment. I'm like, me? I think this should happen. Not like my opinion matters at all, but it just to be in the room and see the process, and it's really magical. And then we were lucky enough to go to the taping as well, which
the live taping,
which it's filmed live, but they don't actually perform. I mean, it's performed live and it's filmed, and then they play that film to open the show. So they only really get one shot to nail the routine. And in the routine, they did a pretty good job. They did a really, really good job. And we're yelling our heads off and just so proud of them.
Like little dance moment. It was like,
doing the routine with them on the side. And I'm blanking on her name, but one of the dancers, they do an A-frame and her shoe goes flying. And we're like, she's a real Lindy Hopper.
They do the A-frame and goes, whoo, and she just keeps going. And we're just like, yes! That's exactly how it would be if we were Lindy Hopper. And like, that's what happened.
But yeah, we're very proud to have been a part of the process and a part of the project, and have our little stamp on there. And even if we are not like name and lights, I don't care. I never care. I just want the product to be something that people like and are happy with. And it's toss-up because, Lindy Hoppers are away about things. And I love Lindy Hoppers, and I think that we are a very small community, and then there's the worldwide community of general people. And sometimes our little community of Lindy Hoppers feels a way about things that is different than the worldwide population. And I think if we show that video to just a group of Lindy Hoppers, they'll be like, yeah. But if we show it to the worldwide, people who love Elvis and the like 50 plus people, they're like, that was amazing. So we know that it's not like this is for Lindy Hoppers everywhere, but the fact that we got to get a little bit of Lindy Hop on TV is always a good thing.
The end result is great, but it's this part right here, us talking to you guys about how we got there, that's really gonna make the difference, because like everything is just like smoke and mirrors when you see it on television or on a streaming device or on your phone or whatever. But knowing the process that it took to get there is like a whole different world of issues and things and struggles and triumphs, and that's why we love talking about it. We're not talking about it because we're like, oh, look at us, we're so amazing. We're like, oh my God, look at that. That was amazing because of this, and this.
Yeah. It would have been very easy for Jamel to put a Lindy section piece in there without us. He's got a room full of professional ballroom dancers. They could have come up with some kind of partner thing that was Lindy-esque. But the fact that but the fact, or just jive in general. But the fact that he called us and he knows that we're straight up Lindy Hoppers and he respects that and brought us in to help with this project speaks volumes, not just to him, but his respect for what it is that we as a community do.
Mm-hmm. Exactly that. Enough about that. Let's talk about. Let's talk about real things like
what?
Halloween.
What about it?
Halloween's still happening in some places of the world. Yeah, it's still happening. People dressing up and being like, fuck
as
Christmas.
Mikey sits here with his little Santa coat. It's on the video. You have to check out YouTube to see it. Mikey has already started decorating for Christmas. What?
We're not there yet.
Okay, Halloween month.
Halloween month. There we go. Okay, so Halloween month. Halloween month is a very important time for us.
It is.
Because we do a lot of ton of shit.
A lot of ton of shit.
Like going to Universal. We went to Universal before Halloween.
We went to Universal as soon as we wrapped Dancing with the Stars.
Yeah. We're going, we're celebrating, and we did it in style.
Yeah, we did the RIP tour.
RIP tour, like VIP, but
RIP. I literally can never go back and not do the RIP tour.
It was a pretty penny. If you want to throw down that many, you will get all your money's worth. You get valet service, you get a special entrance, you get a dinner and drinks in the park, and you get to hang out in this like really secluded area. And then you get your own tram. You get your own tram. You get your own guided tour. And that's a little funny because it's like you and like maybe 10 other people.
10 people, yeah.
And you get this person and they show you from one maze to the next, and they take you all the way to the front. You go right in there. They tell you stories. They tell you how like this maze came up, or this maze is new, and this maze hasn't been here for like 3 or 4 years. And they get all sorts of secrets out to you and facts. And then they give you your own private tour on the lot, which is amazing.
We got our own private ghost story.
Yeah, we got to go on that little tram that goes down into the movie lots. Like we saw Jaws and the Earthquake set and all these different sets that are like historic in film history. And during one part of it, they're taking us through the western part of it that you might have seen in like Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, the Quentin Tarantino movie. And they're telling us how there's this specific ghost, and I forget the name. Do you remember the name? And there's one specific ghost who a lot of people have seen over and over again, or like seen things happen within this Western set that they constantly use over and over again. And as he's telling us a story, we're going past it, and the whole mechanics of the whole thing like starts going crazy. And you can see that it's not quite an act, because the tour guide was like visibly like, what just happened? That's super weird. And it would go away and it would come back exactly when he was talking about this ghost thing. And it was just so funny. He was just like, so flustered, and it was so perfect.
Yeah.
And we got to go on every maze, plus a couple of rides, and the Jabberwocky show, and dinner and dessert and drinks, and the front of the line for everything. And then we still had 2 hours after that to continue to go around the park as we wanted.
Yeah, it was really, really fun, and I highly recommend it. And I feel like that's always our kickoff to Halloween month. We always go in September. It's become a tradition.
That, and also going to Not Scary Farm now. We went to both. That was super fun.
Taking kids now, which is interesting. This was my daughter's second year going to Not Scary Farm. We just went a couple weeks ago, right before Halloween, and was super into it. She loved it.
She loved the mazes.
Yeah.
She wanted to see all the things.
She's an actor, so she's, she gets it.
Yep.
She's like, I want to work here. I want to do this. That looks so fun. I want to do that. So it was really fun.
Yeah, hitting a bunch of mazes, there's a section in Not Scary Farm that's in the back. It's called, it's inspired from the Roaring Twenties. They call it the, the Rotting 20s?
Oh, I don't even know. Sorry.
I forgot it. It was something to play off the Roaring 20s, and there's a bunch of people in Prohibition at times, and then the cops and like paper boys, and they're less about scaring you and more about like acting out the time.
It's more like immersive theater in that section. And
it's really fun, and there's like a speakeasy that everybody's trying to get into, but they can't find the password and all this stuff. And shout out to Chris Doe, who's one of the like big wigs over there in Not Scary Farm, and he said he had a lot of input on that.
Chris amazing. Is also the DJ on Friday nights at Atomic, and he has been for years and years and years, since the beginning, since before I owned it. Chris is amazing, and he's the guy.
Yeah.
At Not Scary Farm. He's
really,
at Not
really
Scary
cool.
Farm in general.
And it was just really fun to be at Not Scary Farm and see all that stuff and see how the mazes have gotten better. And it's fun to compare it against Universal Studios in general.
Yeah. We surprised my son on Halloween night.
Oh, yeah.
And we went as these blow-up stick figures.
Yeah.
I think I gave him like 100 different Halloween costume ideas. And
he was like, nope.
I really wanted him to go as Zombie Captain America. I just thought he would love that so much because he loved that What If series. And he loved that idea at first, and then he like scared himself.
Mm-hmm. He's like, zombies. Oh no, I hate zombies.
Afraid of being a zombie himself. So anyway, nothing worked for him but stick figures. So we surprised him. Mikey and I got the same suits as him. Mm-hmm. We put them on, and we all went trick or treating as that, and it was a good time.
He had no idea, and we came out dressed as just like him, and he was like, "This is so good," and he loved it all night long. It was so much fun to go as these glowing little sticks. So it's like a black suit with like the round around the hood, and then all the way down, and 2 legs, 2 arms, and we did a little dance video. Me and Nikki
at Atomic. If you are local, if you're in Orange County and you haven't been to Halloween night in Old Town Orange, I highly recommend it.
Oh my God, it's the best.
Just park at the Circle, park in the parking garage so you don't, get stuck in a neighborhood, and just go walk. You can walk almost all the way up to Tustin from the Circle. Yeah. And it's an awesome time.
Like the north part of the Circle is like a ton of houses, and there's so many people that go all out. Like there's a house that is year after year always does like the Pirates of the Caribbean from Disney, and they do like a full-on set of everything in front of their house, and it even creeps over to the other neighbor's house. And there's tons of houses that go all out with projections and haunted houses and stuff like that. And then there's one on the south that's like a whole street gets in on it.
Yeah, we couldn't even get to it. We tried.
Every single street on this house just goes full out, and it was just so amazing. It's so cool. And it's like everything you see like in the movies of like a full neighborhood like embracing the idea of Halloween. Mm-hmm. That's what we got.
It's amazing. If you're local, definitely check that out. It's definitely worth it. We did one other event.
Huge event.
This year, and it was in October. I think we might have talked about this event on the podcast last season. Sure. We're calling this season 2. Last season, Theater Bazaar. I was lucky enough to go back to an event called Theater Bazaar this year as a performer, and this event is, I don't even know how to describe it. It's like a nightmare and a dream all in one.
Yeah, it's like a carnival that has vaudeville, but also is run because they want to praise a demonic clown that is also the savior of the world named Zombo. And it's like everything you can imagine. It's not evil, but it's like
It's
embracing all of that darkness and being like, it's fun. So there's like dark clowns and like
It's
dark
circusy.
jesters and circusy
Yeah.
and carnival-y
Mhm.
and vaudeville and burlesque and dirty and awesome.
Yeah.
It's just amazing. It's in this giant Masonic temple that's like, what was it, like 18 stories, 16 stories, something like that?
Oh,
Like,
is it even that tall? I don't even know.
it didn't even go that far. Like you
Yeah.
can only go to a certain.
Well, it's 2 nights. So the first night is only about 500 people.
It's a masquerade.
And it's a masquerade party. And so you have to be in a mask. It's, much lower attended. It's on purpose to keep it exclusive. They serve a full dinner. There's multiple floors happening with all kinds of different amazing things. There's burlesque performers happening. There's jazz bands. There were swing dancers there.
There was swing dancers there. Zambiance was awesome.
Which was very cool. And it's just this magical place where you just wander around and you explore and you get sucked into rooms and you experience things, and it's just very, very cool.
Yeah, it's hard to explain without like having you be able to see it. Like check out our Instagrams, you can see it, a bunch of pictures from all that stuff.
Yeah, follow Theater Bazaar on Instagram or go check them out on Instagram, and there's tons of beautiful pictures of what's happening in the space. But it's a 2-night event, and it's a 2-weekend event. So if you can't make it to one weekend, there's always another.
So Friday is masquerade, and the Saturday is like the main event where the first night is 500, and the second night is like 2,000, 5,000 people, and it's crazy. This whole building opens up that like every room, everything has a big show of some sort, whether it be live music, performances, or other things, and then there's other things that can happen within those rooms, and there's other rooms that you can only go to if you know the right password or know the right phrase or know the right person to follow to get in there, or just happen to like turn the knob.
Yeah, just happen to end up in the right place at the right time, or talk to the right person.
For instance,
gives you a token to go to the thing.
Yeah. For instance, like there is this part where there's an elevator, and it's old school elevators where you have to like turn, like there's a person working it where they have to like go and they turn the knob and they go up and down. And you get in there and you have to say the phrase to them, to the elevator operator, and they like let everybody out that wants to get out, like this is the last chance, and they go up and down and up and down and up, and then they finally go up to like the 12th floor, 13th floor, or something like that, and then they stop, the lights go out, and the doors open, and you're in this bar. The doors open, and there's like just lit with candles, and there's a person right there. You don't get out of like the cart, they're just right there, and you go through this whole like ceremony of taking a shot of whatever they're going to give, and they're like, Hail Zombo, which is that demonic clown that we all praise. Hail Zombo. And that's the whole thing, and they take you back down to the bottom floor, and they let you out, and they're like, nothing happened, everything's fine.
Yeah, it's really, really magical. And I was lucky enough to perform in one of those rooms. There's a really amazing venue called the Dirty Devil's Peep Show. And this is a stage like no other in the world. It's literally a giant devil's head. And then the stage is a catwalk that comes out from the mouth. And it's about 2.5 feet wide. Yeah. And it's painted plywood. Yeah. And it goes at an incline to a circular like end at the top of the catwalk. And it's a little bit terrifying to perform on. And I was doing this act where I blindfold myself for a second, and it was so incredibly disorienting. I performed it 3 times that night, and every time I performed it, I legitimately thought I was gonna fall off the stage into people's laps. Like it was so scary, and I feel like I can see it on every video. I see the panic in myself, like, oh, don't stop moving, I'm gonna fall.
Which adds to the performance, I feel like.
Oh, I feel like I hate it because I don't see myself taking the time I want to take because I see the panic.
Just get to that part so I can take this fucking thing off.
Yeah, it's scary. But it's a great time and it's a great audience. And there's nothing like performing to an audience of crazy dressed up people in masks of all different kinds, and like you look out, you're performing and you're looking out into the audience, and it's like surreal. It's not real life in that moment because there's like, I can't even describe the costumes because they're so over the top and crazy. I mean, they don't look human. You're just looking out into the sea of people.
It's like Devil's Carnival.
This sea of people that are not people. You're in this other world.
All the people at Theater Bazaar are in costume. Like that's like a must. Like they'll turn you away if you don't have some sort of costume, like a mask or something. So everyone is decked out in some way or another, whether they're like wearing a Chucky mask or like something they made at home that has antlers.
But yeah, usually the costumes are super ornate and they're beautiful and they're intense, and it's an event for artists by artists, and
exactly.
That's very clear when you're there, and it's not just I don't know, it's all kinds of art. It's performance art, it's circus art, it's burlesque art, it's you name it, it's there. It's incredible. Music, yeah, there's live performances, there's people
dancing.
Hanging from their skin.
Yeah,
from the
people hanging from their
ceiling.
skin. There's
Fire
like sideshow or like freak show or what's the other one? I forget the name of it, but like where they tie themselves up in like ropes and stuff and like hang themselves and like they get in and out of it, and it's just like it's so enchanting. Like in a like purely like as an observer, like I'm so mystified by this. Like, I can't look away.
Yeah.
It's so cool.
It's amazing. It's amazing to be a part of it. It's amazing to be on that stage, and I'm so thankful for Roxy Delight for inviting me to be there. And you know, she's really the reason that burlesque is on the map at this event. She's been a part of it forever, and I'm just so thankful to know her and to be chosen by her and to participate, and sending her so much love. So we'll see. If you're in Detroit and you want to check that out,
hell yeah,
check it out. We'll see if we end up there again next year.
So we're gonna wrap it up here, and usually what we used to do is doing some questions about like COVID and all this stuff and all the great parts, but you know we're gonna put that behind us and we're gonna move forward. So the question this time is, what are you looking forward to for the rest of the year?
That's a good one. I feel like I'm looking forward to getting to a place of security eventually. Like, you know, and we're talking about moving past COVID, but, you know, my reality and our reality in owning a dance studio is that there's no security in it yet. There's a lot of recovery involved. And I think my hope and the thing that I'm looking forward to is getting to a place where I feel like we're not struggling anymore, and you know, we're in the positive, and we're, you know, I think we're doing positive things, and we're, you know, making strides towards that, but it's still going to be a long process.
For sure.
So that's business wise. Creatively, I'm looking forward to dancing more. I'm looking forward to creating more. We have a lot of fun projects coming up and some new shows that I can't talk about yet, but are hopefully coming next year.
You could definitely talk about it. Oh my God.
I can't.
It's totally fine.
No,
We'll talk about it.
We'll talk about
it. It doesn't matter.
As soon as I get the green light,
You
I
and
won't
the
shut up
5
about
other
it.
people that are watching the show.
2 other people maybe.
2 other people maybe.
But yeah,
Thanks,
I think you know, I'm looking forward to my daughter's just joined the softball team in high school. I'm looking forward to watching her play, and you know, I think there's a lot to look forward to, and I think yes, we want to move past COVID, but the reality is that we are recovering from it, and that's okay. We are where we are. We got to start where we are. And I also want to find myself, and I think I am feeling this a lot more. I want to find myself in a place of forgiveness for the ways some things have gone during the pandemic.
Right.
You know, that we've dealt with a lot of pretty negative things. You know, we're always trying to do the best for the people around us, but sometimes people don't agree with that is, and instead of holding grudges towards that, I want to feel like I'm forgetting and forgiving and moving on and welcoming those people back to our space. I think that, you know, everybody dealt with the pandemic in a way that they needed to, and I hope that as a society we find ourselves in a place of forgiveness and positivity moving forward.
It's great, for sure. Ditto.
No, you have to answer all the questions.
I can't.
Start over.
Listen. There's a whole thought process. I knew you were gonna do this. Don't worry about it. Ditto, because at the same time, like I can't ever eloquently say things the way I want to, the way you can, and you always are able to say them. And I feel the same way. Like everything you said is I'm there 100% with you. I want all of that. The only thing I can really add to it is like the superficial bullshit of like I can't wait to put Christmas lights up. And I can't.
Superficial.
Yes, it is because it's so like
it's meaningful to you.
It's meaningful to me, and it's okay. But it's also a fleeting meaning and that's okay. It's not negative. It's just like, but it is less than those grander things. Like I want all of those things you just mentioned. Absolutely. Like I can't say anything otherwise. Like I want that, but then I'm like, also I want to put those Christmas lights up, and I want the color ones like over here, but the ones over the doors are gonna be really tricky because I last year. The ones with the bushes, we're gonna need more because we want to move the palm trees and stuff. And we're going to put in that empty space up there. So it's like stuff like that I'm like, I can't wait to do. And that's why Brown Santa Claus is here. Brown Santa Claus is here to save
Brown Santa is always here.
Brown Santa Claus is always here because he's got water.
I guarantee as this progresses over the next month, this is going to start to have twinkle lights and Christmas decorations.
I think we should decorate the hanging. This guy. It's gotten so big. If you guys have been watching, this guy has gotten so big that I need to rearrange him, but also at the same time, maybe put some decorations on.
Hang some bulbs.
Yeah.
So if you're watching on YouTube, this is our jungle. Welcome to the jungle. It's growing all the time.
Oh yeah, it's growing like this. Like that.
It's taking over the house.
It's jazz hands.
We don't even need a Christmas tree at this point. We're just
we're definitely getting a fucking Christmas tree. How dare you? Tanaka Farms for the win.
Yeah.
But that's basically it. I
can't believe we did this again.
I know, and we're good. We're good.
And we finished a bottle of wine. Look.
Pretty much. I mean, I finished a bottle of wine, but that's fine. So, hey guys, thank you guys so much for listening to our podcast. You can catch us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and anywhere you listen to podcasts. Hopefully everything is still connected. I think I looked into it a couple days ago. It should be still connected.
If not, we'll fix it.
Put the microphone in front of your face and say that
is.
again. No, you were like, Be sure to rate us and review us, whether you love us or hate us. I don't give a shit. It's fine. I want to see what you guys have to say. Yeah, all two of you. The video will be on YouTube, and that's about it. That's it. So from us to you, thank you guys so much, and bye.